Leos, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for November 28th through the 4th of December 2016. I'm Athen, and this channel is about using the actual constellations in the sky, known as Sidereal Astrology. If you are new, be sure to check out the link down below because the signs are different, which means your sign might be different, and you'll want to watch this for the right sign. All right, so Leos, this week we have another eventful week at the end of November. Basically kicking things off on Tuesday will be a new moon. So it's not kicking things off in terms of energy, but astrologically, some new things are shaping up. Some new things are around the corner. And yes, it is a receptive time. It's a good time to be listening. And I would say especially for you Leos, because this is all in your fourth house, which is the bottom of the chart, has to do with your roots. So it could be new beginnings with your home life, family life, some of you, your health. And I think just all in all, getting into the reflective side of things, maybe reflecting on the past a bit. Again, learning more about where you come from, who you are in that sort of sense, and connecting to life personally, really developing your personal relationships, whether they're family or otherwise. Really getting into the sentimental and emotional side to things is really what this new moon's all about. Now, this has been an area that has been quite serious, or that you can really be building here, and this has been Saturn in that fourth house of yours, helping you build long-term roots. Maybe again with home or health or something like that, if it's anything in particular, or maybe all of the above. But whatever it is, taking it nice and slow, understanding that this is about long-term things that you're building, and it's about doing the responsible thing and the patient thing when it comes to those matters. So with that approach, with the Saturn approach, I think you'll find that very supportive along with this new moon there in the fourth. Now, around the same time, Tuesday and Wednesday, Mercury does go into your fifth, and so more energy into the fifth house of your self-expression. I think lately and this week, you can still be enjoying a bit of that, whatever the medium might be, if it's creative, if it's hobbies, interests, anything close to the heart that you can be enjoying. It's a great time for that. And I think Mercury going in there might just help you express yourself, communicate things a bit more from the heart, from the passion, from the interests. And I think maybe just all in all, learn more about that fiery energy behind life. Now, Mercury does also rule your second. And so going into the fifth, that could give you some insight about the financial material stuff and how that might motivate you or inspire you. In fact, Jupiter's still in the second house. So there should be, as an ongoing theme this year and going into next year, a bit of opportunity here to cultivate your inner and outer resources. All right, it might be your inner resources, such as your sense of self-worth and your self-reliance, right? And external in terms of maybe finances or savings, material security. So still an excellent time for that. And I think Mercury shifting into the fifth could be a shift with some of those things. Mercury also does rule your 11th, so your aspirations and future matters might be also quite inspiring, which could be good as well. Now, same thing, Tuesday, Wednesday, this first half of the week, Venus will be squaring up to Uranus and sextiling up to Chiron. So again, from the fifth house, if you are feeling, though, around the same time that there is a bit of rashness, you want to break free, you want to do something, impulsive, or you just want to kind of expand those horizons, really access your freedom, listen to that, but do take a step back. Do be aware of any impulses, any reactions, because a square from Uranus, even though it's with Venus, it might make us want to do things rashly or impulsively. For you, it might have to do with your career, might have to do with communication, and it might have to do with, again, the self-expression. So listen to the freedom, implement it nice and slowly. I think it's about, the freedom of having a deeper vulnerability with life and a deeper vulnerability with relationships and with yourself. And this has been Uranus in your 8th house, really helping you access the freedom of that. Once we are open, once we are deep, once we are vulnerable, there's a tremendous amount of freedom to be had. And I think viewing it from that perspective, as well as giving a bit of space with any reaction that you might be feeling, is a great way of working with this, and slowly but surely implementing, I think, a bit of that depth, a bit of that vulnerability and intimacy into the self-expression, into the career, your public life, and maybe even too with, again, the communication as well. So it's a good way to challenge yourself this week and implement those two things. Even though it may be a bit uncomfortable, it can be very rewarding and very healing, not to mention, Venus is going to be sextiling up to Chiron. So there's this rejuvenation about the whole thing of you expressing yourself for these deeper things or whatever it is. So it's just as a backdrop, but there's certainly a rejuvenation there. And I think we'll be feeling that. Chiron's going to go direct this week here around Thursday. This is in your 8th house. So again, you've been doing all of this healing lately this year regarding all this deeper, vulnerable stuff. And so more with that. I think there's a shift with that, which again could bring about a bit of freshness and rejuvenation there this week. And give it some time, of course, because Chiron's a pretty slow-moving planet. But what's interesting around the second half, as you can see, the energy definitely shifts. And we'll be coming out of the new moon. We'll be going into the crescent phase, which means the energy levels increase a bit. There's a bit more momentum. But with that, Mars is actually going to be trining up to Jupiter, which is a very nice aspect, very collectively significant. This is going to be Thursday going into the weekend. And this is a Mars in your 6th house. So if you've been motivated to get with your self-improvement, to cultivate your work, perhaps some of you, just improve things in life. It could be improving you. It could be improving your environment. It could be improving your work, your craft, whatever's motivating you here on the day-to-day level. I think it's really good to listen to this week. Usually with trines up to Jupiter, it can be quite easy. So we don't want to rest on our laurels. So if you are feeling inspired, use it. Channel that. I think a great place to channel that into is into the work, into the daily sphere, into self-improvement. And this could be with what has been, again, boosting with your inner self-reliance, your inner self-worth, which is Jupiter from that second. Now, Mars does also rule your 4th house, so there could be some positive things here with your home, family, and health as well. Again, also signified by that new moon. So good for any motivations there, any energy there in general, and your adventurous side. Maybe you'll be tapping into that adventurous spirit this second half. It could be through going for a walk or a hike, or maybe some of you a bit of travel. But if it's internal, philosophy, spirituality, higher learning, basically expanding your mind to possibilities and potentials and really changing your belief system, really seeing what is possible in life, perhaps using that as a motivational force as well, or an inspirational force. And what's nice too is Mars will be sextiling up to Saturn right after that. So there is this this grounded approach to all this too. It's just an opening for that. But with whatever it is you can be taking seriously, whatever it is that you're taking nice and slow, with particularly I think your roots, with the emotional side to life, or with your family or home, that's a positive support towards that motivation as well. So all in all, Leo, I think the simplest way of looking at this week is that yes, there's new beginnings. I think a lot of it is about your roots in life, whether it's home, family, or health. This is long-term, but still new beginnings nonetheless. There's certainly this shift towards your self-expression and perhaps feeling a bit inspired to communicate. Again, maybe with those resources, maybe with those aspirations. Do be aware of any impulses this early half of the week with the Venus square up to Uranus, maybe with any values, maybe with the career, the communication. Integrating the deep with the self-expression really is the key there. And as we get into the second half, very inspiring collectively. And I think for you, it could certainly be channeled into your self-improvement and your work, your day-to-day stuff there, which could be very motivating. All right, so Leos, have a fantastic week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next week.